If you read the title of this video, you've seen that I'm going to be talking about the wage gap. So I think it'll just be best to start off. Well, first, I'm going to talk a little bit about my stance on feminism. Unlike a lot of people who post anti-SJW, anti-Tumblr content, I do consider myself to be a feminist, mainly because I consider myself to be an egalitarian, and for me, feminism falls under that. Like, feminism to me is egalitarianism when dealing with women's rights. So now I'm going to talk about the wage gap. Yeah, unlike a lot of people who post these anti-Tumblr videos, I do agree with the wage gap. Well, I mean, I don't agree with the fact that it's still there, but I agree with the fact that it exists. I agree that it is something because there are other factors like different job choices and different hours, but when you really do the math, it seems like there still is some discrimination going on, whether it's consciously done or subconsciously done. So I'm just going to make this video to talk about how I think like we as individuals can solve the wage gap. Like I'm not talking about how like the politicians can, what laws you can do that, or like how the CEOs can solve it. I'm talking how like we as the commoners can solve the wage gap, at least partially. And I think a big part of that is to actually discuss our wages. And some people think like, oh, you shouldn't do that, but the government and like it was decided in American history that being able to discuss your wages is so important to workers' rights that it's actually illegal for a boss to prevent you from doing it because you need to know whether you're getting a fair deal or not. And I think if people talked about their wages, it would be a lot harder for these bosses to get away with paying women less for the same job because women would know that they were being paid less, and then they could actually say to their boss, "Hey, I don't necessarily think I'm getting a fair deal." And maybe like if they really have good reason to believe they're being discriminated against, they can file a lawsuit. Okay, so this video ended up being pretty quick, but this is just my opinion on the wage gap and a good way to start solving it. This has been the Political Cuttlefish. Cuttlefish out.